So let's just go ahead. The most basic Nmap scan I like to run, I'll do a Control L to clear the screen. That's a quick shortcut to clear. I used to type clear back in the day. You don't have to do that. Control L does it instantly. I like to do SV, which will give us more detailed information on the versions. I like to do SC for default scripts. So if it finds certain ports open, it's going to run some really safe scripts against it that's going to give us even more information in the output of the scan. And then I like to run, let's see, SV, SC, OA, output all formats. So it's going to give us the standard output. It's going to give us a greppable mmap where we can easily grep for certain things. I'll go over grep in another video. It's a Linux command to help you find a certain thing and whatever you're looking for. And it's also going to give us an XML file that we can pull into certain other applications, like maybe Sparta or something like that if we wanted to do that. So I'm going to call this one short because this is my short Nmap scan, my brief one. And it's really as simple as that. It's not as simple as that. I always eat my words, I'm telling you. Because you got to tell it what IP address you're going to run it on. Nmap's good, but it's not that good. Now, it's as simple as that, you know. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know what's going on now. Well, this was up a second ago. Let's see if it's still accessible. Okay, see how I'm having to scroll back a bunch? What you can do is you go to history. And I want to run this command again, so I just do bang 6. Okay, this is no longer accessible, or I am not connected to the network anymore. I'm still connected to the network, so I don't know what happened. This thing must have went down. Let me refresh this page. And it's cool that I'm running into some hiccups because, well, it's up. Because, you know, sometimes annoying crap is going to happen to you and you're going to need to, well, I can't copy this, right? Let's see. I still have this going down here, but I am not able to connect to it. So I'm having some issues with Hack the Box at the moment. One thing I can try and do is just restart my connection. I don't see any errors here, but I mean, I could just try and run this. Oh, you know, one thing we're going to need to do is probably here, easier way. Let's just go into the root account. And then if I cd into home Kali and then hack the box and then here. And now let's try ping C1. Okay, yeah, it's working now. I don't know. I restarted my VM, but just for good measure, I decided to go into the root. I went on to keep typing sudo all the time. So what I'm going to do here is basically run that command over again. So we do nmap sc sv oa to output all formats. And then what we want to name it, which is short. And then we're going to run that on 10, 40. All right, now we're in business. So Nmap scans take a little while to run. And I will just come back to you when it completes. All right, so now the scan is completed. We got our output here. I'll just scroll up a little bit so you can see the whole thing. So here's all the open ports here. This is what we're looking for. Whenever we see 135 and 139, that's like the NetBIOS stuff. So we know instantly, and especially 445 as well, which is SMB, we know for sure. If you see SMB, NetBIOS, any of that, you know it's a Windows server. There's also some Windows, Microsoft Windows RPC. Because we did the SV flag here, we see this version information here. And it was even able to fingerprint it and get the host name of the machine, Harris PC, confirm that it is Windows. And even, see now here's the default scripts coming into play. All this information was because we ran that SC. That's why I like to run that flag. It'll start running some default scripts. In this case, because it saw this 445 open, it ran some enumeration scripts for us on the SMB protocol. and it found the OS discovery. It found out his Windows 7 and even Service Pack 1. Now that's the key there. So a lot of it, being an attacker and doing good recon is just getting as much information and then knowing where to look from that information. So if you're an attacker, if you're a seasoned attacker, it's instantly going to sort of grab your attention. Oh, this is Service Pack 1. So this is where just, having that curiosity can really help you out as an attacker. So if I am curious about that, right, I might say, oh shoot, it's having trouble copying and pasting back and forth. Windows 7 SP1 Service Pack 1 vulnerabilities, because we know it's running that. And this one, so now I can look at like some CVEs for this, and like I already see, oh, there's a code execution vulnerability here. This has to do with printers though, and this one wasn't running a printer, right? But you can start looking at different stuff. Okay, there is kernel mode, like a driver issue that can lead to code execution, it looks like. But this is calling out Service Pack 2 and 3 in Windows XP, right? So you can just keep like looking up different stuff, right? And I think we got it something else, right? 6.1. So you just keep kind of digging here. And there is SMB was running, right? SMB is notorious for having some pretty dangerous vulnerabilities, to say the least, in the past. So yeah, we don't want to look for DOS. That's denial of service. We don't really care about bumping it offline or anything like that. So that's what I'll say about that. This is just general Windows 7. Oh, this is just all like denial of service, right? So we don't really care about that so much. Okay, here, this is interesting, right? Support, okay, well this is Vista. MS08, 068 could allow code execution. But yeah, this is for Windows Vista. Aha. No. But yeah, you really look at a lot of this stuff here, especially. And there is an Eternal Blue script as well that you can run, I do believe. So we should be able to see, where is it? We can look at something called Metasploit. I'm sure you guys are familiar. But if you're not, this is like a really well-known, I gotta run this as root. This is a well-known framework for exploitation. MSF, oh, DB run. That's what I wanted to do. So that's gonna start my Metasploit database so I can do searches faster and stuff like that. So we will let this boot up. Might take a minute. But yeah, Metasploit, it's just got tons of exploits to get shells on pretty much anything vulnerable to remote code execution. It even has some non-intrusive, well, I wouldn't say non-intrusive, but like non-exploity stuff that you can maybe get some recon, maybe some scanning or whatever, get some enumeration going as well. But in this case, we will use it to get some information here. Let's search for Windows, that's too broad. There's one, I'm trying to remember. SMB. Okay, here we go. There's all kinds of SMB things here you can use. And yeah, I definitely want to make this longer so it all fits on one line. It'll be a lot easier to read. But there's Eternal Blue was the vulnerability, or the exploit rather. Where is it? There's been so many versions of this exploit. This is one of the most sort of well-known, notorious SMB exploits out there. Eternal Blue. There's also some enumeration, SMB enumeration stuff that you can use. Okay, here we go. Let's see, various things. SMB versions, we can run that. This is an auxiliary scanner here that will tell us SMB version. So let's just run some different stuff. So we can say use this, right? And let's take a look at the options. This is just how you can use. I'll do a Metasploit video in the future, but we're gonna set our hosts as 10, 10, 10, 40. That's our target. And we don't need a username password here. So it looks like you can just run that, I think. And yeah, it gave us that information that Nmap gave us, basically. We were already able to get that from Nmap, but I wanted to show you guys that there's some recon that you can do from Metasploit as well. It says, hey, it's running this. So if I gonna launch this, it might take a minute. I think it's being slow on me at the moment. There we go. Come on. Come on. This is the only thing about VMs sometimes. I launched 2 of them. All right. Yeah, there we go. That's just a good thing to search sometimes. I was having trouble finding that, but here it is. If you type in Windows 7 Professional SP1 exploit, the first thing that comes up is Eternal Blue SMB Remote Windows Kernel Pool. Man, this VM is, I'm gonna have to make some tweaks to it because install guest editions or something, because this is very, very, very slow. I can't open it. I'm just gonna Google the same thing on my host machine because that's a little ridiculous slow. Professional SP1 exploits. And okay, cool. So here's the article right here. We'll just pull that one up. And yeah, it's saying, yeah, there's a Metasploit module for it. It's explaining that it's like a kernel level thing, like a memory corruption, which also means that you got to be careful with bringing stuff down if you run this in a real environment, because memory vulnerabilities, like if you get it slightly off, you could just straight up DOS it, like denial of service, because it's a buffer overflow. You're overriding in the memory. This is like actually pretty complex under the hood how this works. But basically it's a buffer overflow. You're overriding stuff in memory. But yeah, it could cause some instability, like blue screen of death, like crashes. If you overwrite it into some like gobbledygook and you don't get your payload, you can end up crashing the system. But yeah, this is what we're gonna use here, Eternal Blue.